Alan Ritchson's Reacher series may be getting a spin-off, but I'm not sure that's a good idea. Alan Ritchson appears born to play Jack Reacher, which is impressive because given the way that author Lee Child describes Reacher in his numerous novels, finding a human being who resembles the giant, wandering force of vengeance seems difficult. Just ask Tom Cruise. So far, Ritchson has played Reacher in 2 seasons of Reacher, easily one of the best shows available on Prime Video, and a 3rd season should be in the can and hopefully reaching the streaming service early in 2025. But now there's word that the Reacher universe might be expanding, though I'd prefer that they focused on the main show before branching out. The report is coming from Deadline, which cites sources saying that Reacher executive producer and showrunner Nick Santora is actively developing Neagley, a spin-off series that would focus on Jack Reacher's closest ally, Frances Neagley, played on Reacher by Maria Sten. For the time being, Neagley is the only other main recurring character on Reacher, having appeared in Season 1 before increasing her role in Season 2. That was warranted by the Lee Child book that was chosen to sustain Reacher Season 2. Bad luck and trouble focused on Reacher's former army group, the Special Investigators, and a plot to take them out one by one. Neagley was a crucial aspect of that book and of the Prime Video season. The thing about the Jack Reacher books, however, is that it's very rare to have a recurring character from story to story. Reacher is a wanderer, preferring life on the road over anything that ties him down, including personal relationships. Yes, Neagley has been someone that Reacher could trust over the years. But the joy of an ongoing Reacher series should be how different the seasons can be, because Reacher books change up from one to the next. Reacher might in the Florida Keys to kick off one story, then find himself in Colorado for the next book. Personally, I'd prefer that the showrunners on Reacher focus on the main show before they start forcing spin-off shows for characters who haven't been properly established and don't have that major of a role in the books to begin with. I like Maria Sten as Frances Neagley, but I'm not clamoring for more Neagley adventures. She's a role player in Reacher's universe, but it's Reacher's universe. Neagley has appeared in 4 Reacher books and 1 short story. There are no standalone Neagley books from which a new series could draw. Given the fact that there are so many amazing Lee Child books that could easily sustain more Reacher series, why water down the main series with spin-offs that don't have literary roots and could detract from the overall impact of the main saga? Not everything has to be Yellowstone. Not everything is worthy of a Taylor Sheridan expansion, but Reacher appears to be heading down this road. Maria Sten will appear in Reacher Season 3, even though Neagley was not in that book. And the Deadline notes that if Neagley gets off the ground, it's expected that Alan Ritchson would cross over and play Reacher in the series for a few episodes. I don't know. It just feels unnecessary. Make Reacher the best show it can possibly be, and focus on that without trying to milk the show's success to create other shows for which very few are clamoring. When Reacher first dropped on Amazon Prime in 2022, it quickly gained a loyal fan base, thanks to its faithful adaptation of Lee Child's Jack Reacher novels. Alan Ritchson's portrayal of the stoic, tough-as-nails ex-military investigator won over fans and critics alike. The show delivered a near-perfect balance of gritty action, sharp dialogue, and a protagonist who captured the spirit of the beloved literary character. With the success of Reacher Season 1, which adapted Killing Floor, the first novel in Child's series, there's been growing speculation about the possibility of a Reacher spin-off. While the idea of a spin-off might excite some viewers, especially those who are already invested in the Reacher universe, I'm not entirely convinced that it's a good idea. Here's why. 1. Risk of diluting the franchise. One of the reasons Reacher works so well is because it's built around a singular, compelling character. Jack Reacher is a drifter with a complex moral code, and his journey across America, solving crimes and taking down bad guys, is what keeps audiences hooked. Creating a spin-off would likely involve building a show around secondary characters who, while interesting in their own right, might not have the same level of appeal as Reacher himself. Reacher's presence is the heart and soul of the series. His intelligence, physical prowess, and unique way of seeing the world make him a magnetic character. Without him as the centerpiece, any spin-off risks losing that essential ingredient that made the original show so engaging. A spin-off might try to capitalize on the universe of Reacher, but without Jack Reacher himself leading the charge, it could end up feeling like a watered-down version of the main show. Take, for instance, The Walking Dead universe. While the original series had a massive cultural impact, its spin-offs, such as Fear the Walking Dead, have struggled to maintain the same level of excitement and engagement. Fans may love a world, but their attachment often revolves around specific characters who anchor that world. In this case, Jack Reacher is that anchor. 2. Reacher's story is vast enough. Already Lee Child's Jack Reacher series is made up of more than 25 novels, not to mention numerous short stories. That's more than enough material to keep the main Reacher series going for several seasons without needing to branch off into a separate show. In fact, with so much source material available, focusing on adapting Reacher's existing adventures seems like a better investment of time and resources. Reacher is a character who thrives on new situations, and the appeal of his story comes from the variety of cases he gets involved in. Each novel places him in a different town with new characters, enemies, and mysteries to solve. Instead of diluting the Reacher brand with a spin-off, Amazon could focus on continuing to faithfully adapt these stories, bringing fans deeper into the complexities of Reacher's world. There's no need to create a new narrative when there's still so much of Reacher's story left to tell. 3. Spin-offs often struggle to stand on their own. Television history is littered with spin-offs that failed to live up to the success of their predecessors. For every Better Call Saul, a rare case where a spin-off arguably rivaled or surpassed the original, there are countless others that failed to capture the same magic. Shows like Joey, spun off from Friends, or The Lone Gunman, a spin-off of The X-Files, never managed to stand on their own. They lacked the dynamic that made their parent shows successful, and as a result, they quickly fizzled out. A Reacher spin-off runs a similar risk. While there are a few recurring characters in the novels that could potentially serve as the focus of a spin-off, such as Francis Neagley, Reacher's former colleague in the military police, or some of the FBI agents or local law enforcement officers he encounters along the way, none of them are as compelling or layered as Reacher himself. Fans may enjoy seeing these characters in supporting roles, but it's hard to imagine them carrying an entire series on their own. 4. Maintaining quality across multiple shows is a challenge. Another concern with a potential Reacher spin-off is whether it could maintain the high level of quality that made the original series so successful. Reacher works because it's tightly written, well-paced, and features strong performances, especially from Ritchson, whose physicality and charisma brought the character to life. Adding a spin-off to the mix could stretch the creative team too thin, resulting in a drop in quality for both the original show and the new one. Amazon has seen success with franchises like The Boys, but even in that case, the animated spin-off The Boys Presents, Diabolical, and live-action prequel Gen V had mixed reactions, with some fans feeling like the new content didn't quite live up to the original. Expanding a franchise can be a double-edged sword. While it creates more content for fans to consume, it also increases the risk of overexposure or creative fatigue. The same could happen with Reacher if Amazon tries to grow the brand too quickly. 5. Reacher's lone wolf nature is what makes the show unique at its core. Reacher is a story about a man who operates outside of the system. Jack Reacher is a lone wolf, drifting from town to town, solving problems, and then moving on. It's a formula that works because of its simplicity. Trying to build a larger universe around him, whether by focusing on his past, his connections, or other characters, could end up undermining that very simplicity.